Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. 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 The choir of children sing their song.
Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Otaku Evolution's Christmas Grab Bag. I'm your holiday host, Penguin Truth. This year, I've decided to do things a little differently. See this bag over here? I've loaded it with various anime DVDs, box sets really, and I will pick from them the subjects of this year's Christmas episode. Each set is of an anime that has at least one Christmas-themed episode, or at least an episode with some of the trimmings. 3 episodes ought to do it. So, let's see what's in here, shall we? It looks like Lupin the Third followed me from the last episode. Well, this is a treat, because this set of the second series is coming out soon from Discotheque Media. What's it doing already here? Shut up is what? Lupin the Third's second TV series ran from 1977 to 1980, the longest running of the various TV shows. They ran it on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block in 2003 after it was dubbed by Foos and released by Pioneer. They never dubbed or aired all the episodes in North America and didn't even air all the episodes they dubbed. But they did manage to dub 2 Christmas-related episodes, the first of which I'll cover here. It begins with our favorite gang of thieves watching a telecast about a gift exchange between nations, wherein a bottle of wine Napoleon had made will be given to the President of the United States for Christmas. Lupin is looking to impress Fujiko by lifting this romantic booze, and this means heading off to Bordeaux. But first, he has a challenge sent to Inspector Zenigata to forewarn him he'll be taking the bottle. Some guys just love hard mode. Really, though, he's hoping to discover the location of the bottle by following old Pops when he gets into town. Lupin's team conceal themselves in wine barrels while he disguises himself as a delivery man to the chateau storage. He's stopped so the barrels can be inspected, but he's got a plan for that, with the gang hiding wine bottles in the casks for extraction of samples. Once the gang get into the cellar, however, things quickly go south.
You're all under arrest! Get up!
There you are! Put your hands where I can see them!
Have some more! You maniac! Stop!
Congratulated by the police for successfully guarding the bottle, Zenigata is asked to escort the wine to America for extra security, which he reluctantly accepts. Lupin has his eyes on the plane at the airport, hoping to filch it before it's delivered. As a bonus, they decide to steal a giant crate being loaded into the plane. But first thing is first, and they have to put on one of their patented elaborate con jobs, and this one is, quite honestly, a product of its time. I very much doubt anyone could get away with this on a flight today. But they switch out the real bottle with a fake one, and the only one who knows about it is Pops, who is too embarrassed to admit it. But hey, it's Christmas time, and it's time for our festive felons to celebrate. Fortunately for Zenigata, the president doesn't notice the switch, and Lupin will get to enjoy Napoleon's wine. However...
Here's to us! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everybody!
What in the hell is that?
It's called 200-year-old vinegar.
And a colossal waste of time and energy.
To make matters worse, they discovered that the crate was full of dolls for underprivileged children. But Lupin decides to make up for it by dropping the dolls over the Capitol, which is totally reasonable and could really happen and not cause him to get shot down immediately. Merry Christmas! So I guess the wine had somehow aged past its prime, huh? That wasn't clear in the dub. I love classic Lupin III, especially this second series. It can get a bit too silly at times, but there's a charm to it that parts 1 and 3 lack. I think that's why I like part 4 so much, because it's kind of the best of all worlds of Lupin. Sort of the Fujiko TV series shown through the prism of part 2. I'll probably revisit this, as I'm sure to revisit Lupin sometime next year. Now let's pick out our next selection in the bag. Case closed. Let's see what holiday homicide our favorite 17-year-old in a child's body detective solves. This episode sees Rachel's pal, What's-Her-Face, who cares, having scored an opportunity to hang out with her favorite music star at a karaoke bar, and Rachel and Conan tag along. The star in question is this douchey Super Saiyan-looking dude who's recently announced that he's leaving his bandmates to go solo. The guy is a complete asshole to basically everybody, even though they're all accommodating and apologetic towards him, so you know that he's the victim of the episode. He even goes out of the way to mock his manager, a former bandmate from his first group. He does show a brief moment of humanity, but his ego explodes when his signature song is requested. It's kind of awful, by the way.
Yeah, bloody Vina, I wanna die.
Basking in the afterglow of his amazing performance, he takes a bite of a rice ball but keels over dead from poisoning. Naturally, Inspector McGuire, who looks like Zenigata's more straight-laced but obese cousin, is on the case, immediately accusing the bar owner, another former bandmate. Then he assumes that the breakup of the current band is the motivation, suspecting the newer bandmates. Conan already has it pegged as a member of the band too, questioning them. Conan spots a picture of the Super Saiyan's first group and asks about it. The bar owner points out that the woman in the picture was the manager of this newer band. After reading the back of the picture, Conan realizes what's happened and grimly thinks that it was a great tragedy. You know, I remember this mystery being a little harder to figure out when I first watched it. I mean, I already know the answers since I've seen this before, so maybe this is just hindsight? But this is a pretty easy one to solve. It is a children's show, after all. A children's show that regularly has grisly murders. Merry Christmas! Well, we'll take a look at how Conan solves this case when we come back. Obviously, it was Dr. Agasa, though. I mean, come on. Clearly. Otaku Evolution Christmas Grab Bag is brought to you by Lucky Squid Studios, creators of Fruitimals, Channel Frederator Network, Maker Max Studios, and the support of viewers like, well, no, none of you have helped any, but whatever. We'll be back with more after this.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. It's the holiday season, and the crew at Lucky Squid Studios think your loved ones will want a warm and snuggable treat. Egg Santa Puss is on his way on his magical dragon fruit to bring all the good boys, girls, and non-binaries Fruitimals by Lucky Squid Studios. Yes, Fruitimals, adorable plush delights, handcrafted special by Elf Union 804 Local. There's Orange Fox, Octo Cherry, Egg Platypus, Dragon Fruit, and others. You'll want these for your own stocking. You can buy these and other Lucky Squid products at Store Envy and Society 6. Fruitimals are on my nice list, this and every year. Oh, 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 oh.
We now return to the Otaku Evolution Christmas Grab Bag with your host, Penguin Truth. On what I can only assume is another evening, McGuire gets a call at the station and hurries down to the karaoke bar with Rachel and What's-Her-Face, who cares. The caller was none other than Jimmy Kudo, promising he had already solved the mystery. He apparently set the crime scene exactly as it was the night of the murder. Obviously, this can only be Conan using his bow-tied voice changer to sound like his old self, trying to explain everything from elsewhere. Conan, as Jimmy, names the manager as the killer of the Super Saiyan. To demonstrate what happened, he requests that she imitate how the jerk sang his signature song, throwing off his jacket. He then tells her to eat some of the food laid out, but she refuses. Jimmy has McGuire search the jacket, where he finds the Super Saiyan's lighter, because the jacket is actually that guy's, not the manager's. She switched the jackets with the victim, placing poison on it so that when he threw it off, he'd get the poison on his hand. Naturally, when he ate the rice ball, the poison got onto it and it killed him. As for motivation, Jimmy refers to the photograph in which the manager, once a bandmate of the victim, looked different. She admits that she had plastic surgery to reduce her nose, to attract the Super Saiyan as she had fallen for him. But he became hostile towards her because of it. Angry at being scorned by the man she loved, she killed him. But the bar owner reveals that the truth is far more tragic.
These are the lyrics to his new song. It's a love song. He wrote it for you, Mazzy.
No. Oh, no, Georgie. What have I done?
The actual ending post-credits is a little more upbeat. Rachel, convinced that Jimmy is back in town, runs over to his house expecting to see him and scold him for his absence. In the dark, Conan passes her a Christmas present.
I wish I could have held you in my arms, Rachel. That's the best that I could do. I'm just happy to see a smile on your face. That's Christmas to me.
Then he went back to Rachel's place and probably bathed with her as Conan. The little sneak. It's funny how this is over 800 episodes ago, and he's still not back to being Jimmy. We don't even know who the black organization's boss is yet. Oh well, moving on. Let's see what comes up last for reviewing this year. Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. Alright, it's the ADV release. In 2006, ADV released its own DVDs of the original Macross, complete with its own English-dubbed version. They even managed to get the Japanese voice of Lin Minmay, Mari Aijima, to reprise the role in English as she's bilingual and lives in the US. The show's 36-episode run had one Christmas episode, which was the penultimate episode of the series. To be perfectly honest, I don't have a lot of use for the episodes after the 27th. The story pretty much wrapped up there, and it seemed pretty obvious which woman Hikaru chose at the end of that. The extra 9 episodes muddy the waters, including this one. But as an episode on its own, it's pretty good. After the Macross crew defeated the Zentradi Emperor and his forces, some stragglers remained that didn't want to bother integrating into human society. The remnants are led by this purple guy, Kamazin, who is even pissier and bloodthirsty than the average Zentradi. He and his soldiers are hiding out, preparing to strike at the humans and take the parts they need to get their ship going. In Macross City, people are celebrating the holidays, and our hero Hikaru's mind is on Misa, who he'd been making headways in his relationship with. At home, he sees a news story on the disappearance of Minmay, and who should knock on this door immediately after? Why, it's the blue-haired idol singer herself. She's not in a good place.
All that attention started going to my head. Before I knew it, I had lost all the pieces of who I am. I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself now.
Of course, Misa, hoping to surprise Hikaru with a pop-in, overhears Minmay at his house, and completely overreacts when Hikaru lets her stay over, running off like the drama queen she, and basically all the characters in this show, are. It's not like you caught him slamming meat, sister. At least your boyfriend isn't dead like Claudia's, you ungrateful bitch. Anyway, the Zentradi remnant hostiles start attacking, and Maximilia deploy as the citizens evacuate. The giant aliens start searching for the special engine they need, and Maximilia's unit begins the counteroffensive. Of course, everybody but the married masters get wiped out. Hikaru, lamenting he wasn't called immediately, rushes to his craft to engage the enemy just as Ugly here and his friends find what they're looking for. Hikaru's team arrives as the Zentradi make their escape, and Suicide Claus delivers his presents. Yikes. Well, this was, wow. This is pretty disturbing. And on Christmas Eve, no less. Well, the Who's in Whoville weren't going to let this get to them, so even after the destruction the Zentradi were bringing, the people in town, they all began singing. Even though somebody's heart grew 3 sizes that day, not likely Suicide Claus's, Hikaru has beef with Misa telling the bridge crew he was sick as revenge for overhearing him with Minmay, thus him not getting the message about the attack until late. Kind of a bitch move. The guy already chose you. He's not supposed to be around any other woman for the rest of his life? Alas, while Misa has her emotional crisis, Minmay is perfectly willing to snatch Hikaru up for herself after all, as when Hikaru returns, she has a surprise for him. Well, I guess it's better to serve Christmas cake than be Christmas cake. The end! As you might imagine, the whole love triangle is resolved in the next final episode of the series. Even though it was already solved 8 episodes ago! Ugh! Sorry. I love Macross, but these final 9 episodes were the very definition of gratuitous. Maybe especially this one. It really doesn't go anywhere because it doesn't have anywhere to go. It relies on completely forced drama and on the audience ignoring that Hikaru already made his choice. But it really is kind of nice in its own way. As I said before, while completely pointless in the big picture, and well, even kind of pointless on its own, it's actually kind of charming schlock. The way the community comes together after a horrifying attack does have a genuine emotional impact. They know what's happened is terrible, but for a brief moment are unwilling to let it destroy their spirit. And the acknowledgement of that shared humanity, even in the face of terror, is what makes Christmas worth celebrating. And there you have it. 3 different Christmas-related episodes from 3 disparate anime. Let it never be said that Otaku Evolution isn't about variety. Well, come to think of it, I've already covered all 3 franchises they belong to. 2 of them this very year. And the previous episode was about 1 of them. And I'm planning on covering more at a later date. But nevertheless, relative variety is the spice of life. I'd like to wish you a happy holiday season on behalf of Otaku Evolution and the Otaku Revolution site, and all the best in the coming year. Come what may, be it triumph or tragedy, I hope you can join me in looking at anime as often as possible, and that will be a great gift indeed. Well, that and contributing to my Patreon, but whatever. There's only 1 episode left for the season, and it's all about English dubs. So join me one last time in 2016. Until then, see ya!